Okay, let's get into some of you being an author. So similar question to the photography stuff, just to start us off. But like, what was one of your earliest memories of you wanting to be an author or a poet? I mean, it's you're an author because I feel like but you've obviously written scripts and things like that, which I didn't know about. But um, is that the same thing? Do you look at like poetry and being an author? Are those terms interchangeable, kind of?
Yeah, I would just say I'm a writer, I
Yeah,
guess.
right. I guess that makes it easier. I don't know. I think I never really thought about the difference, but yeah.
Yeah, writer, poet, and yeah, I started writing as soon as I could pick up a pencil. I
Hmm.
remember just writing these weird little stories and hiding them places in my room because I didn't want anybody to read them.
Right.
And then, yeah, in seventh grade, I started writing poetry,
Okay.
and then I kind of never stopped. And I still have a bunch of that stuff. Maybe not from seventh. Well,
Right.
I know I have at least one from that time,
Yeah.
but I still have stuff from, you know, my teenhood and early 20s that I
Hmm.
wrote that will probably never see the light of day.
Or no one else will see.
Yeah, but I have them, and I
Yeah.
got to do a spoken word EP with a Chicago musician. Kind of, I recorded the vocals for that, and then he put it to music.
Thoughts overflow like the psychedelic melodies in our ears. We are brain in a jar of formaldehyde, dreaming through the projector, making shit up as we go along. We are creating our own muses, cultivating our own cast. We are derelicts of our pasts and oracles of our futures. We know what's next, and we know what's after that because we've read it in a book somewhere.
We
Oh,
released that as a cassette, and
nice.
that's called "Time for a Swim," and it's an EP. And
Hmm.
so that was kind of my my early poet my early poetry, kind of
Yeah.
releasing the
Right.
best of, sort of.
Hmm.
So there's three tracks with me on there doing the spoken
Cool.
word, and then yeah, and then I just have always been writing ever since. So
Hmm. Is it something like do you write like every day, or is it something like you kind of pick up and do a lot for a little bit and then kind of step away from it, or?
yeah, I would say it kind of comes in waves like that.
Yeah.
I don't write every day, but yeah, when I am writing, I write a lot.
Yeah.
So I told Brett when I was interviewing with
Hmm.
him, I wrote some of the poetry in Idiot
Hmm.
in my car at stop signs
Yeah.
with just a pen and paper on the steering wheel.
Uh-huh.
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
And then I kind of started doing the voice notes on the phone,
Yeah.
so
A
it's a
little bit
little bit
easier.
safer.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's sometimes especially when you're driving, you have these ideas that just come to you, and it's like you have to get them down immediately,
Yeah.
or yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
you can't rely on your memory to bring them back later for sure.
Hmm.
Um, so kind of, I guess, what was it that made you want to start publishing books? I know that I mean, maybe it's just a natural progression of, eventually getting to that point where you can put stuff out, I think. But was there anything that kind of pushed you into that?
Well, putting out the Time for a Swim EP, that
Hmm.
really opened up my world to, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not the only, or this guy's not the only person that can put out a
Yeah.
book or a record,
It's like you don't need to rely on someone else to necessarily help you do it or
or
put
just,
something out, right?
well, just that I can do this too.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it.
Hmm.
And so when yeah, so when I wrote Forever Elko, that was after it was a road trip through the desert
Hmm.
after a mental health crisis, and I felt betrayed by some of the events that happened
Hmm.
that led to that book,
Yeah.
and I not necessarily wanted revenge, but I wanted to put my story out there.
Yeah. You wanted to get that out, right?
Yeah, I wanted my side of things out there,
Yeah.
and how these things affected me, almost as a a warning or a way for somebody to kind of see that
Yeah.
there's a way out and that they're not alone if they've gone through similar things.
Mhm.
I think I might have danced around a little bit of what happened
Mhm.
in the book, but it's still, I wanted it to be kind of like a triumphant thing, like a
Right.
success story, kind of
Mhm.
like, okay, this person went through these things, and now you can see that they've kind of recovered from them. So
Mhm.
there's a way out, you know.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's something about art in general is we take something that's in ourselves or something that happened to us or whatever, or something we experience, and then put it into a painting or a poem or a song or something, and then other people can see that and then learn something hopefully about themselves through that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's definitely an interesting and valuable thing to do with that kind of experience, is to help, maybe like you said, help someone else feel better about their situation, or maybe learn that they don't need to be like a victim or whatever, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah, and that was your first book, right? It was the memoir.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what was it like putting that out, and like, um, what was like the process of releasing that? Was it difficult, or obviously doing something like that for the first time? I'm sure it is.
Yeah, well, that book just kind of poured out of
Yeah.
me. I wrote it very quickly. I wasn't working at the time,
Mhm.
so I just kind of sat down and wrote until it was done.
Mhm.
And then I didn't really know what to do with it.
Okay.
I found a publisher on Facebook. He was asking for fiction,
Mhm.
and I wrote to him and I said, and he's a French guy, but he lives in South Korea,
Hmm.
and his company is called Pondickery Books. But anyway, I wrote out to him and I said, well, I don't know if this is your speed or your style or anything like that,
Mhm.
but I have this memoir. And I emailed it to him, and then he wrote it back, and he was like, "I think this needs to be released."
Yeah.
And so he designed the cover for me,
Oh, cool.
and
Kind of helped you.
yeah, he kind of, and then he sent me a bunch of copies too, so that was really sweet, and
Nice.
so I got to have it out there in the world.
So that was not, I guess, necessarily self-published, right? Whereas these are.
Yeah, he did all the design
Yeah.
for everything, and then he even did an ebook for it,
Mhm.
and it was published through Lulu Books,
Okay.
and then somehow weirdly Walmart picked it up for a little
Hmm.
while.
That's cool.
And I think it was kind of an illegal thing. Somebody like stole it and put it out for sale
Oh,
on
oh,
Walmart. I
I
don't
just
think it's there
wonder.
anymore,
Well,
but
because Walmart is weird, like Walmart.com or whatever, right?
yeah,
Like if you go and buy stuff, it's almost like Amazon or eBay or something. Like other people can sell stuff through that, and it's not necessarily Walmart at all.
right.
So I
It was
wonder
one of
if,
those
yeah.
situations. So
Uh,
that was interesting because they were selling it for like $50.
what? So you didn't get any of that money. So yeah, it's. Did you get to like take it down and get it?
I
Or
think, yeah, he
yeah.
did. He
Oh,
took care of
okay.
it for us. So,
Cool. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what's good about having someone like that, like a publisher, right? Versus
Hmm.
like, so what's it like been like doing your own? Because I know, was Idiot your first self-published thing through like,
Technically,
yeah.
yeah. I did another little
Okay.
poetry short limited run.
Yeah.
Um, I think I only made like 6 copies of it,
Mhm.
or eight
Okay.
copies,
Yeah.
but
So very small,
yeah.
exclusive.
So I knew a little bit about
Yeah.
what I was doing, but yeah, Idiot was my first self-published
Mhm.
book of poetry, and I did I did the cover for it,
Mhm.
and then I did have an editor on that one.
Okay.
I was a
Yeah.
local writer, or yeah, local writer
Mhm.
and screenwriter, John Selvage.
Hmm.
And so that was really cool to have an editor on my
Yeah.
side. 'Cause there were things that were in there, poems that were in there, and he said, "Yeah, I don't really think this works as a poem." And
Huh.
so he helped me kind of I already table a lot of things
Yeah.
that won't ever be released probably,
Mhm.
but he was helpful with that. And
Kind of like focusing it in and picking like the best stuff for it, right?
Yeah, and then also helping with the ordering of the
Mm-hmm.
poems, and then noticing where I maybe stepped on myself at
Okay.
like the end of a poem, and like,
Yeah.
okay, you can
Just.
stop there instead of adding those two extra little lines or
Mm-hmm.
something. So he really helped me polish everything up, and helps me become a better editor.
That's
So
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's interesting too, because that's something I think that I just now thinking about this because I don't think about writing very much because I don't do it. It's like as far as any kind of writing. But I think having an editor is really good to kind of help. It's almost like someone. It's almost like a therapist or something. It's like
Mm-hmm.
somebody's helping you see yourself and like show yourself back to. It's like, well, what if you did this, and they can see something that you necessarily can't because you're so close to it, right?
Yeah, it's good to have that feedback,
Yeah,
and yeah, someone to kind of bounce ideas off of, and
yeah.
yeah, and show you yourself, like you were saying.
See,
Yeah.
yeah, just see something that you might not see for sure,
Mm-hmm.
because and just help it. But yeah, that's really cool to see because I've read Idiot all of the poems in it. I got it on Kindle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like, because I wanted to be as familiar as I could be with your stuff before today, and I really liked it. Obviously, I think it was great. I mean, I think you're a great writer and poet as far as your specific style too. I think it's speaks to me a little bit more than a lot of poetry because it's not. It is that kind of raw. How do you describe your poetry? Like more blunt,
Yeah, and confessional as well.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and kind of. But yeah, really liked it. But one thing I noticed about it, I think, is the order. Like I feel like it kind of flowed very well. Like I read it throughout the past week, so it wasn't like in one sitting or whatever. But I feel like if you did, I mean, you could get like a full picture of something. I don't know. It kind of had a good ending, I guess, which is weird because it's not like it's cohesive at all necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to check this one out for sure. And hopefully I'll get to read the memoir eventually for sure. Like I said, I've got a stack of books that I buy. I buy books all the time and never read them.
Mm-hmm.
I intend to. I just, yeah,
Same.
it's hard to find the time to sit down and just read something for me. So, anyways, yeah, I kind of asked this already. You've been writing poetry since you were like in middle school or whatever. Um, who are some of your favorite poets? Was there any poets that you kind of looked up to or were inspired by?
Mm-hmm. Uh, Anne Sexton was a recent one that I got
Mm,
into. Sylvia Plath, I always really
mm,
loved when I was younger. Charles Bukowski and Richard Brautigan's a really big one.
mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah.
Yeah, no, I sometimes I ask these questions and it's like it doesn't matter what you say, I'm not gonna know any of them. But it's
That's
like I
okay.
do. Those are some of them do are familiar at least, but I'm not that into poetry. But was there any of those? Do they like inform your style? I guess is it like a who would you say is like the closest to what you do or how you write?
Probably Brautigan.
Yeah.
I'm not as grouchy as Bukowski,
Okay.
but Brautigan, I feel like he has a quality to his work that inspired me because
Hmm.
he's like the way he writes. It's like anybody can do this,
Right.
and it doesn't have to be uh, really fancy. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be, yeah. It doesn't even have to rhyme. It's just
Yeah.
you're just writing it, and yeah, I think so. So I think he informed my writing quite a bit.
For sure. I think that's interesting because that's something about poetry. I mean, um, I kind of like, I've dabbled in like, you could say poetry, but it's like my intention was to like, were more song lyrics, you know what I mean? But it's so similar, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's practically the same thing.
Yeah.
But I always think about, because as a musician, obviously, I think a lot about lyrics and things like that with music. but I've always thought, it's like, and I think with poetry too, it's like there are obviously rules, right? I mean, you learn how to write. I mean, there are some standards, I guess, for certain styles or whatever like that, but that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's like any art. You can learn how to draw a proper picture or painting, but it's like you learn those rules to then eventually break them, right? So it's like I think it's always interesting to, like you had mentioned about poetry, it doesn't need to rhyme, and I think
Hmm.
it's like it's more about I think the rhythm. Is that right? Like,
For me, yeah, I
mm-hmm.
think I would say I write free verse, but my ideas come from somewhere else, I
Yeah.
think, and a lot of times they will have a rhythm to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had actually people that study poetry read some
Yeah.
of my work and say that's almost a sonnet or
Yeah.
something. And maybe if with the right editing, it would have been, but
Right.
I
If
don't
yeah,
know
but you
that. I
didn't.
didn't know that.
It's like you definitely didn't mean for it to be.
Hmm.
That's interesting, but I do. But that's interesting too because I think that those kind. I think similarly with music, it's like music. Music is so fascinating to me as just what it is because it's like it comes from somewhere, but I don't know that it comes from any like our brains necessarily. You know what I mean? It's like it's. I think it exists in nature somehow, and like we kind of tap into it.
Yeah.
So it could be the same with poetry too, right? Like those kind of like styles of poetry are certain. It's like I think people didn't necessarily create them, but we just noticed them, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like so it's like well that comes from somewhere. Maybe it comes from inside of us, or maybe it comes from something else. But I don't know. That's interesting you say that because I think that's something that could be said for a songwriter. They could write a song in a certain way, and then it's like, oh, it's just like this, but they had no idea that that even existed.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've written things that were prophetic too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I yeah, I don't think they necessarily come all from us. I think some of it
Right.
might, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we can get into all kinds of philosophical things. I think a lot about our own thoughts. I don't think that our own thoughts are actually our own. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just like they come up, and where do they come from? Actually,
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird, but that's kind of a whole different conversation.
Yeah. I'm an esoteric thinker, so
Yeah,
I'm
for
there with you.
sure. But I don't know. It could be similarly because I think with poetry, I mean, like you said, you're just driving in the car and a poem could form in your mind, and it's like it's just a thought too, right?
Hmm.
So it's